Enrico, the reason why you've recently become so popular in the internet is because of some information given to a patient pertaining to ChemTrails. Would you like to clarify your position in relation to that?
Okay. Um, a lot of my own life's journey has been one that has taken me to areas of information, access to information that is often been concealed from the general public or distorted from the general public. There's this whole shield of what is called conspiracy theorism. I suppose I may fall under that shield at times, but the reality here has been that we live in a society which is laden with, infested with distortion of truth. If we just simply look at the United States, what we see here is our president, Donald J. Trump, is the icon of falsification, of confusion, of distortion. This is part of the collective consciousness of society. Things that we used to regard with a bit of blind allegiance and faith and patriotism and submission to our religious authorities, for example, there has come still, nonetheless, to light the reportings of the inconsistencies in many of these things that we took for granted as truths, as absolute truths. Such has also happened within the medical profession. Many of the controversies that we're dealing with now in the medical profession stem from the issue of whom can you believe? Whom can you believe about the safety, the efficacy, the effectiveness of vaccines? Whom can you believe and what can you believe about the cancer industry? Well, such also has become now more about other environmental issues that are taking place, and the same questions arise. What is going on? Whom can you believe? To what extent? And then the other questions. What does it mean to me? Does it impact on my own health in some sort of way? Can you believe the government? Can you believe the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC? Can you believe these law enforcement? Can you believe whatever? What do I need to do about it? Can I do anything about it? So with this mounting angst in society, so much of these issues are also the issues that are alive and very present in the consciousness and the realities of people when they go into patient mode. Because I have worked in urgent care and primary care medicine for so long, I see a lot of this because I was trained so much in a multidimensional approach to medicine. Then environmental causations, the stresses of uncertainty, and even more so lately, as these things have come into reality for people, it has had more of an impact on their health. And so one of the big things that we see in the sky every day are these lines that go across the sky. They're called chemtrails. And there has been a large movement to understand what it is, what they are, and there has been a large movement to essentially deny that they are anything other than simple condensation exhaust from high altitude planes. what are called contrails. So for the most part, chemtrails is a term that has been emerging, and it is in the popular domain of understanding of something, but it remains still shrouded in a lot of mystery and controversy. I happen to have formed my conclusions. I have examples of evidence, and I have the processing of the opinions and the evidence that others have presented, and the acknowledgement of these various sources of information. And to me, and to many, and many, many more, daily, this is about a process of awakening to something which is truly deleterious and truly nefarious, harmful, and even, you can say, evil. For it represents a covert activity and process which is worldwide. And as someone who has traveled the world, and as I had mentioned earlier, to approximately 100 countries, in the past 7 or so years, I can say I have not been to one country on this planet where I have not seen chemtrails in the sky. So this is really an issue. How much of an issue it is? How damaging is it on a biochemical or a molecular or an environmental pollutional level? There is difference of opinion. How damaging it is on a human level in terms of living with a sense that whoever they are, the governments and the different federal agencies or the private corporations or the evil extraterrestrials, or whatever it is that is the perspective that one gives towards chemtrails. When one looks up into the sky, the big question is, what is that? Who is behind that? And what are they doing? And why will they, whoever they are, or at least our leaders on this planet, why will they not come forth frankly, transparently, and reveal what it is? Clearly, the vast majority of people who come to understand that there is something up there that is being sprayed into the atmosphere must in some kind of way come down and enter into our lungs, our respiratory system, our nervous system, our immune system, into our physiology, into our biomatrix. That alone, without a clarity, without a truth as to what it is, why it is, what's the agenda, the purpose for it, and especially what is the benefit of it? Because if it is being done on such a worldwide scale, and it must be done with governmental and leadership awareness and authorization, then it must be something for the good of us as a people. But what is it? That uncertainty creates great ambivalence. The great ambivalence creates autoimmunity through the axis of psychoneuroimmunology. It creates stress within the system. It creates the hyperactivity in the stress responses of the body, mind, emotions, and environment. So it naturally contributes towards detrimental health impact. Regarding the particular situation in question, which spawned this surge of activity on the internet, and with honor to the privacy and confidentiality of a physician and patient, I will give the details that I am permitted to give. I provided treatment to a patient who had a recurring and persistent respiratory problem, who, despite previous visits, was not achieving the improvement and the resolution of the respiratory condition. In the course of that process, I was asked to offer other explanations, other factors that may contribute to the persistence of this respiratory condition. And so I did. Being trained in and board certified in integrative holistic medicine, as well as many other areas that I've been trained in, I offer a very broad perspective to patients, and I am very intent on assisting them through patient education. When a patient is coming into the clinic for multiple visits for the same basic issue, and especially if that is occurring within a short period of time, it is necessary to spend additional time. It is necessary to also go outside and beyond the simplistic context of Western medicine to address their concerns and to also illuminate what may be other streams of factors relating to the cause or the course of their illness. That is a holistic approach. I offered a more holistic approach and level of understanding regarding the many questions that the person had. I was then asked regarding the environmental issue, do you believe in ChemTrails? To which I responded, yes. At this point, the patient asked if I would be recorded, willing to record a statement on ChemTrails for the benefit of the patient to get it right. I said, sure. I have been frequently enough recorded by patients over the years because sometimes my explanations for things are extensive and complex. It may seem a little awkward, but why would I bother to say something to a patient and be unwilling to stand behind what I say? So accuracy is important. So I consented to the patient recording me. I did not realize that that would trigger such a firestorm of attempts to take my words out of context and distort things and use them to sensationalize various causes, and at the same time to use it to attack and discredit myself and potentially end my career, and even more potentially to end my life, because that is part of the reality for those, even in the medical profession, who have dared to speak up about unpopular positions, because it is happening. It is a reality that from time to time the announcement goes out over the internet. Holistic doctor found dead by suicide with 2 bullets in their brain, or found in the river someplace here, or mysteriously disappeared. By various accounts, it may be close to 100 such healthcare workers have been identified, and others have made claims that those numbers are far greater than such. Nonetheless, we know that there's this thing that is called professional suicide. You toe the line. The medical profession, as any institution of trillions of dollars of circulation, of responsibility and involvement in the lives of millions and hundreds of millions, and in essence almost the entirety of the planet, these institutions, these mega institutions, they have to preserve themselves. Whether it's the healthcare industry, the transportation industry, the political industry, the energy sector, the religious industry and sector, whatever it is, institutionalism has its own egoic compulsion to survive as it is. And when there is something that comes out that may be inconsistent with what it senses as serving its interest of survival, it may react and suppress. This is largely what germinates what we call the conspiracists and conspiracy theory, that there is something else going on. The government, don't trust the government. Don't trust the doctors, don't trust the pharmaceutical industry, etc., etc. So yes, when a doctor does choose to speak out about controversial subjects such as vaccinations, such as chemtrails, such as water quality, fluoridation, mercury and nickel in fillings of teeth, such as sugar, such as cancer, etc. So many of these topics are indeed very, very controversial. Many doctors, dare I say most doctors, are suppressed via their ignorance, are suppressed via their fear, are suppressed via the way that they are trained and educated to not draw clarity about many, many topics, are also suppressed in their interactions with patients, such that indeed the patient experience is so often described as a long wait to see the doctor for a few minutes, to leave the doctor's office with very little empowerment of knowledge, very little sense even of permission to take a path of health and self-responsibility other than what has been dictated to the patient by the physician in accordance with the physician's training and regulations for practice. This is the state of affairs today in the world. I'd rather not go into a lot of detail regarding chemtrails. I'm addressing the issue of what was the context in which the subject came up and how then things were taken out of context, which is what has created this bit of an internet storm. I feel very apologetic to the patient for the things that have happened as a result of the choices and decisions made by the patient and the other person who was present, who collaborated with the patient as they intended and put forth my video, the recording of my few words, 1 minute, 2 minutes at the most, I believe, something of this sort, that they put forth this short recording of myself, and that it has had the consequences that it has had. Perhaps some of those consequences are favorable indeed to either of those persons. It certainly has been favorable to many who have chosen to use it as fodder for their cannons of their causes. I believe, however, because of the distortion effect, that it has added additional stress to the original providers of such information to the internet. But that is as it is. My position, however, again, is to allow it to be what it is, It simply is that I was asked a question by a patient. I responded to the patient. The patient chose to record it. The patient chose to post it. And the various processes of things in social media going viral are underway. Insofar as its effects upon myself, upon my career, I have recently been in transition from finishing one job and looking for the next set of opportunities. It's already had its effect. I've had several scenarios of the next position that I would take have been suddenly withdrawn. So yeah, there's clearly impact upon myself. It would probably be much worse. And so it is. I wish for all this bit. Please be willing to look beyond. Please be willing to look deeper. It is very disheartening, I know, to be unclear regarding the truth. It is very painful to feel disempowered, to doubt your own intelligence. It is very unnerving to witness within yourself the emotional responses that come when you go into states of confusion. Whom to trust, including oneself. Can I trust my own thinking? Can I trust my own feelings? It is very frightening, I understand, to think that these kinds of things are happening on such a large scale, and even global scale, that have to do with us as a whole human species in some kind of way. Is it good for us? Is it not good for us? And if it is good for us, then why won't they tell us the truth? And if it is not good for us, yet it is happening on such a far and wide scale, then what else is happening that's not good for us? Everyone deserves the path to their truth. And as such, for someone who has been a practicing physician for 36 years, who is now towards the end of that career, if my profession chooses to no longer welcome me, it is as it is. It does not silence my truth. Yet more than being a physician, I am a member of this planet population. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And as such, it has also been my mandate, my dharma, my mission, my purpose, to share truth, always seeking greater understanding, and to share that truth and that understanding, that seeking in unconditional love. I hope that this is useful.